and he talked about it. He said, I don't want to do an exhibition against Floyd Mayweather. He said, I'm only doing real fights. Now, of course, I can't get up high in weight, but I'll fight him in a real fight at the weight that I'm at. But
Floyd Mayweather has made headlines again by challenging Terence Crawford to ditch his fight with Canelo Alvarez and face him instead. The catch? It would only be an exhibition match. But does Mayweather realize this fight adds nothing to Crawford's legacy? It won't boost his already outstanding boxing record or bring him closer to International Boxing Hall of Fame status. At best, it's just a quick way for the former undisputed welterweight champ to make some easy cash.
But one thing I like about him, one thing I do like about him, he's selling it. He's selling it, and he's making good money, and he's entertaining. I like it.
Is he, and Floyd
is up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever, keep it real, boss. Keep it real.
I'm never that type.
For some reason, Mayweather believes a fight between him and Crawford would generate more money than a Canelo versus Crawford showdown. His real motive? To settle the long-standing debate over who's the better fighter. Since Crawford's record is the closest to Mayweather's, fans have argued for years about who deserves the title of the greatest boxer ever. Could the fight happen? Maybe, but it seems unlikely right now. Crawford is still active, chasing greatness, and he worked hard to secure his fight with Canelo. Giving it up,
Shit, always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting.
Yeah.
I never looked at him like...
3. For years, boxing fans have compared Mayweather and Crawford. However, Crawford has always given Mayweather his due respect, never trying to diminish his legendary 50-0 record. When asked about their similarities, Crawford acknowledged Mayweather's greatness.
Hit, not get hit, to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters. You know, he's
the pound for pound top fighter in boxing right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, I just truly believe he doesn't have to be under my company for me to give a guy props. I'm not like that. You know, if he's ever free.
Crawford went on to say that while they share some traits, they have key differences. He believes he took more risks early in his career, while Mayweather adjusted his style over time. Crawford noted that it depends on which version of Mayweather you're talking about, Pretty Boy Floyd or Money Mayweather. Pretty Boy was a relentless attacker, but after suffering hand injuries, his style shifted as he moved up in weight to fight bigger opponents.
And he was moving up and fighting bigger.
both boxing. I think, you know, I take more chances.
Excuse me, Crawford.
You know, right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know,
While Crawford and Mayweather have similarities, fans have debated who would win in a head-to-head battle. According to a recent report, Crawford could have the upper hand. That said, when it comes to pure boxing skill, Mayweather's mastery of the sweet science is nearly unmatched.
It depends on which Floyd Mayweather you talk about. Do you talk about money or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy fighter.
Free, and he want to go to any company. If he's a free agent, I would love to work with him if he's free. Because I know that what I can do to take him to that next level. Because with Jim saying raw talent, hell of a fighter. There's a lot of hell of a fighters out there.
His sharp jab, perfect timing, and incredible counterpunching allowed Mayweather to dismantle his opponents with ease. He did this across two different phases of his career, proving his adaptability.
He's going to reach from the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the Gomez here at the engine.
As Crawford mentioned, Pretty Boy Floyd was the aggressor, bringing the fight to his opponents. Later on, Money Mayweather became a strategic genius, outsmarting rivals with his boxing IQ. No matter which style you prefer, both versions of Mayweather built his legendary career. Meanwhile, fans are still amazed.
Defensive work. Pernell with it.
Chin.
Crawford's power jab constantly broke through Spence's defense. His ability to land precise counterpunches in the middle of exchanges was on full display. While we've seen this before, no one had ever done it to an elite fighter like Spence. In pure boxing skill, Mayweather is in a league of his own. But Crawford's style is aggressive, explosive, and highly effective. If Crawford fought Mayweather in his prime, how would it play out? Who would win the battle of Crawford's pinpoint shots versus Mayweather?
Footwork.
There are endless possibilities for how this fight could go, making it tough to pick a clear winner. Mayweather was a master of luring opponents into his game plan, gathering data in the early rounds before dismantling them. His unmatched ring, IQ, and defensive brilliance made him a 5-division world champion with an undefeated record. Crawford, a 2-time undisputed champion, has also demonstrated his intelligence in the ring. Mayweather had lightning-fast hands, but Crawford's sharp angles and explosive speed give him an edge in quickness. 10. Mayweather won 50 fights, with 27 coming by knockout. In comparison, Crawford has 40 wins with an impressive 31 knockouts, and he's still active. Crawford's recent destruction of Spence showed his power and skill. He dropped Spence 3 times before finishing him in the 9th round, making it look easy. Spence, known for breaking down opponents like Kell Brook and Sean Porter, had no answer for Crawford. Meanwhile, Mayweather's legendary defensive technique, the Philly shell, allowed him to absorb
Boxing IQ. Legacy.
It's more than one.
Crawford also has slick defensive skills, but Mayweather's defense was nearly perfect. So, how would a prime Mayweather versus Crawford fight unfold? After a cautious opening round, Crawford would likely be the busier fighter early on, throwing and landing punches even if Mayweather blocked many of them. By the middle rounds, Mayweather would start taking control, landing sharp jabs and...
Look at this fence, unbelievable. Young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you've seen one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong. You're wearing, then he's nowhere. You think you can... And again, it's not just hand quickness.
However, Crawford's relentless pressure and power punches could trouble Mayweather, possibly even hurting him at times. It would be a close fight, but Crawford's volume and aggression might be enough to sway the judges, giving him a points victory over Mayweather's tactical approach. 13. Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, has shown interest in fighting Canelo Alvarez, the current super middleweight king. However, the significant weight difference between them...
With Canelo, they
want
to see it.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo, fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic and makes sense and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight. And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No. It's Crawford who wants it. He wants the chance to prove it. He's the best.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
And and again, that's one of what's happening on a shakeup of the new world order, where you got fighters that's really 54 at best to take on a Canelo who can actually fight a cruiserweight and maybe give a cruiserweight, especially at this moment, all the hell they can want. If you can't hurt a guy like Canelo, and you don't have height and depth to be able to at least have something to work with, then we're going to see another, what they say, boring fight, and I say a smart fight,
You know, being that you obviously, again, appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Who heard it?
Listen how I said it.
Hey, are we getting this
Crawford
confirmation here
Canelo.
first?
You understand? Yeah.
I understand the money grab. I understand it's about the bag. Crawford ain't 26. Another major network is saying they packing their bags up. You're gonna see a lot of desperate moves jumping off. You're gonna see a lot of very unrealistic, unorthodox.
Former heavyweight champion Roy Jones Jr. recently weighed in on a potential Crawford versus Canelo showdown. While he praised Crawford's skills, he leaned toward Canelo as the favorite. Jones emphasized that Canelo's power could be the deciding factor in the fight. This breakdown highlights the challenge Crawford faces. He must find a way to handle Canelo's well-known power. If he can rely on his technical boxing skills while steering clear of Canelo's hard-hitting shots, he might just pull off a major upset. While a potential showdown between Canelo and Crawford is still just a dream for fans, Canelo Alvarez remains focused on his upcoming fight. William Skull, the IBF interim champion, has recently surfaced as a possible opponent. However, this wasn't always the case. Hall of Famer Roy Jones Jr., who is now a promoter, trainer, and respected boxing analyst, had previously discussed how both Terence Crawford and David Benavidez could potentially defeat Alvarez. However, he has since shifted away from that prediction. Two-time 168-pound title holder Benavidez has been calling for a fight with Alvarez for the past 2 years. Crawford, who was once considered the top welterweight in the world, is willing to move up 2 weight divisions to face the Mexican superstar. Meanwhile, Alvarez insists that beating Crawford wouldn't do much for his legacy, despite many believing Crawford has a real shot at winning. Jones, who moved between weight classes in the later part of his career as a 4-division champion, believes Alvarez should continue competing at super middleweight. Last year, Canelo Alvarez fought on September 14th in honor of Mexican Independence Day. Naturally, his annual September fight is set for September 13th this year. Reports confirm that the Mexican champion has booked the T-Mobile Arena for that date, where he is expected to take on Terence, but Crawford, almost exactly a year after facing Edgar Berlanga at the same venue, a fight that coincided with a UFC event. Canelo Alvarez is rumored to face Terence Crawford in a highly anticipated super fight in 2025. Both fighters are widely considered among the best pound-for-pound boxers today, making this matchup a must-see event. While Canelo is getting older, he remains a dominant force in the sport. However, fans have expressed disappointment with some of his opponent choices in recent years, with many accusing him of avoiding top contenders like David Benavidez. Despite this, Alvarez continues to sell out every arena he fights in, no matter the opponent. The same is expected later this year, when his much-anticipated bout against Terence Crawford takes place. All signs indicate the fight is set for September 13th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. However, will Canelo really stay inactive until then? It seems unlikely. Boxing Scene has reported that 4 fight cards have been scheduled in Las Vegas for March 22nd, March 29th, April 5th, and May 3rd. The May 3rd date, in particular, stands out as a strong possibility for Canelo's next fight. For Canelo, May 3rd is a key date to watch. Since 2019, except for 2020 due to the pandemic, he has consistently fought on Cinco de Mayo weekend, with 3 of those 5 fights taking place at the T-Mobile Arena. While it's not set in stone, it's a strong possibility. That said, the significance of the fight against Crawford may lead him to take extra time off to stay fresh. However, given Canelo's history, he rarely stays inactive for too long. If he does take a fight before September, William Skull seems to be the leading candidate. The IBF super middleweight champion has reportedly been in discussions with Canelo's team since early this year. Canelo Alvarez is now 34 years old. While he hasn't shown any signs of slowing down, he is approaching the later stages of his career. In a recent interview with Ring Magazine, Canelo was asked about retirement. He admitted that while he doesn't have a set timeline, he knows he's getting closer. He feels great and better than ever, but believes that by age 38, he'll start seriously considering retirement. He also reflected on his career, acknowledging that he has taken difficult fights and risks that weren't always necessary. He loves the challenges and has always pushed himself to prove his greatness. He mentioned that he doesn't focus on his record. Instead, his trainer constantly reminds him of all his accomplishments, including victories over multiple world champions. Canelo Alvarez last secured a win against Edgar Berlanga in September 2024. Reports suggest his rumored fight against Terence Crawford is inching closer to becoming a reality in 2025. However, the fight's future is still uncertain, as both fighters have existing commitments. The final decision will depend on several factors, including contract negotiations and strategic choices made by both teams. Very few fighters have shared the ring with both Crawford and Canelo. The only one to do so professionally is Amir Khan, who suffered knockout losses to both men. Khan has already shared his thoughts on how a Crawford versus Canelo fight might unfold. Others who have sparred with both fighters have also weighed in. One such person is middleweight contender Jaron Davis, who previously fought Canelo's rival David Benavidez in November 2021. Having trained with both Crawford and Canelo, Davis shared his opinion with Mill City Boxing, saying that the fight would be extremely difficult for Crawford. He believes Alvarez's size and ability to absorb punches would give him the edge. Davis noted that Crawford might be able to cut Canelo or hurt him to the body, but ultimately he thinks it would be tough for Crawford to win given the size and skill combination Canelo possesses. Davis believes Crawford would need to focus on landing clean punches and targeting Canelo's body, but he acknowledges it would be a major challenge. He emphasized that everyone knows Canelo is a skilled fighter who sets traps and makes life difficult for opponents. While nothing is impossible in boxing, if he had to bet, he'd pick Canelo to win. Davis made it clear that he isn't discrediting Crawford's skills, but he sees Canelo as the superior fighter in terms of size and power. He even suggested that Canelo could potentially stop Crawford with a single punch. Meanwhile, questions have arisen regarding Floyd Mayweather's sudden interest in an exhibition fight with Terence Crawford. Eddie Hearn recently pointed out that Floyd Mayweather tends to take exhibition